Hey everybody, what is going on? It is your boy Izl33 welcoming you to the Anarchy Analysis Predictions series. Once again, we are returning for MSI, but in the bracket stage, as 4 best of 5s are on the docket for this one. But obviously, like usual, before we get to that, if you haven't been keeping up with the streams, well, let's go over the results. And what do you know, of all the best of 3s and the 1 best of 5 we had, we got 8 of them correct out of the possible 11. That is a huge set of results that we managed to accrue for ourselves. But these results mean nothing if we get no more correct predictions in our follow-up 4 series. So without further ado, let's get into them. We kick things off with Gen G taking on G2. This is an interesting matchup to say the least, as Europe's 2nd seed takes on the 1st seed from the LCK, and a lot of people are surprised at the fact that Gen G are the 1st seed from Korea and it's not T1. Now, obviously, it came down to the finals where, relatively speaking, Gen G put on a clinic against T1. And as a whole here, in this series, we could definitely see the exact same result, with Gen G just mopping up G2. But what I've noticed throughout every series we've seen so far from the LEC 2nd seed, they've made their games bloody, quick, and unpredictable. And Gen G as a team, they've just been that consistent squad. They're never top of a stat for anything. Obviously, there's some things you have to look at as individual players, which we're not going to get into, because as a team, the only stat from the regular season that they sat atop of was wards cleared at 15, which isn't a big stat, I would say. But when you look at the rest of their stats, they're very near the top in all the important aspects of the game, like barons taken, goal per minute, and it helps that you win so many games as a team. But I think this series is going to be surprisingly close. While yes, I could see G2 not, or I could see him winning it. Let's be honest, they've had practice on the stage. They're raring to go. I have to admit, Gen G are whom I'm going with to win this one. I've gone with a 3-2 prediction though. I think G2 are... I think they're stronger on international stages than MAD, which is the LEC's other representative who have a difficult opponent as well. And I just feel that with how this team is built in terms of G2, it's going to be hard, I think, for the likes of Peanut to get advantages over Yike, because G2 have invested a lot of time into getting Yike ahead with these carry-orientated picks. And we've seen that a lot from G2 this tournament. So when it comes to these best of 5s, G2's style may get tested, where Yike's pool gets chopped quite heavily because he's found success on Nidalee. He may not get his Kha'Zix or Bel'Veth, and so you're looking at G2 here, as they're coming in as the lower seed, probably not going to have side select for this one. And as a whole, Gen G probably going to force G2 to red side. Draft's going to be a bit all over the place, because I dare say G2 will be forced into banning the Annie and the Kennen, whereas Gen G probably going to ban Draven, Lucian, and then maybe a Nidalee or a Yike champion, just to throw a Surrounded Works. I know teams have gone to the Darius as a ban against G2 because Broken Blade found a dominant performance on that pick. But here, I just think Gen G coming into this tournament, it's their first series, 5 games against the same team. They're going to adapt as it goes along and beat out G2. And yeah, that's the prediction. Mad T1. Oh boy. The LCK are bringing in some powerhouses to this tournament, and Mad, they don't tend to have the best performance on the international stage. They're obviously the first team in LEC history not to make it out of play-ins, and that's probably the biggest achievement that Mad have got on the international stage. It's kind of disappointing, to be honest. But here against T1, they're probably entering the lower bracket. I can't predict any European team to win any series, because as a whole, Mad just won't have the same creativeness as T1. Like, don't get me wrong, all of Mad are talented players. I still think, though, T1, that it's going to be fun to see Carrier versus Hillesan, but yeah, it just seems like T1 will wipe the floor in terms of their success over the year. Mad, unlike Gen G, who are near top of the stats for a lot of their things, somehow sit very low down in a lot of the things that have been analysed about them. And so I, for one, think they're the second weakest first seed coming into this tournament, and going up against T1, who is probably a lot stronger on paper than them. It's going to be a cakewalk. 3-1 is my prediction for T1. Second to last series sees C9 take on BLG. I think this one is going to be the most competitive series we're going to see in this opening week of the bracket stage, because C9 are coming in very, very strong. I like this team as a whole on paper. They're very good. It's a team that's quite difficult to beat, and if it was C9 G2 as an opening matchup, that would have been the similar sort of closeness as BLG are their opponents here. I've gone 3-2 as my prediction, and how we've gone with it is C9 are winning 3-2. We've got game experience out from BLG in this tournament already, and yes, I can say the same thing. I said the same thing with G2, where they have the experience on stage and will have a bit more of a feel for how the game will go, and they're more adapted to it. But C9, I think, coming in, have the better setup. I just think there's a little bit more explosivity from this lineup, as you've got a rookie mid laner who probably will feel the pressure of the stage, don't get me wrong, but you're pairing him up with a lot of experience. Sven and Blabber have been to this tournament before. Blabber is phenomenal as a jungler, and going up against BLG, it could be very interesting to see how they match up with their roams and plays, because BLG to me didn't seem awfully impressive in the playing stage. Like, don't get me wrong, they beat every team, but they dropped one game to Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians lost to the C9 squad. I'm using results-based analysis here to say C9 will probably win this one. And last, by no means least, it is JDG taking on the Golden Guardians. Well, if we're going based off results-based analysis, BLG beat GG 3-1. They're the second seed from the LPL. The first seed from the LPL, JDG, gonna probably decimate the Golden Guardians 3-0. That's my prediction. I'm just gonna be honest. Golden Guardians have impressed me in this tournament. But I think the biggest issue with all their games is no one's really understood how to draft against them. Their opponents every single series in the lower bracket has felt like it just felt that they banned the wrong things, and PSG were the last specified they faced. It was never favorable for PSG. It seemed so slow from them, and they weren't like a good team. I don't think they were a good team at this tournament. And as a whole here, GG will probably be out-tempoed, be forced into very difficult situations. I think there's going to be a big top gap shown in this matchup. And it's unfortunate because Licorice has been playing very well. And I, for one, think that JDG probably are going to come in unaware of the strength that could be thrown at them. However, it's a names-based game. When you've got 369 Knight, Ruler, and they're missing a Na'Vi, rounding out that roster, it's so hard to play against them. Now, what I will say is, Ruler's pool during this regular split has been a bit iffy. He hasn't really been playing the likes of some of the power picks in this one as heavily as his Zeri and his Varus. But I think that with how the meta has shaped up so far from MSI, this team's going to do exceptionally well, even if what we expect from them is kind of tilted on the heads here for JDG. But regardless, predictions are locked. We've got 4 best of 5 days. So starting Tuesday all the way through to Friday. So regardless of that, thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you guys on Tuesday for the best of 5. I believe it's the G2 series first. So if you enjoyed this predictions, leave a like down below, subscribe if you're new and if you want to, and I will see you guys then. Peace out.